What is up, people? Man, seems like it's been forever. So, this is what we're gonna do. I decided that one of the main things I wanted to do with this channel is correct the misinformation that is going out there. Came across Ranty's last upload. It was a presentation he gave on Nathan's. Issue I had with it is that he misinformed a lot of people by using completely purposely crushing terms. It's just ugh. So I decided it's time to correct that stuff. And just so everyone knows, I did go about the method of doing this correctly. I went on to his comments and I said, hey Ranty, you didn't say that correctly, man. I said, you know what, John, I pretty much don't care because I have a narrative. Kind of got to keep that, and if I don't, no one will subscribe to me anymore. So I said, I didn't realize it was like that. I said, yeah, it is. Don't worry about it. I said, okay. But this is what really happened. Okay, so I basically explained to him that first off, quite a few times he depicted the mean sea level flat, depicting it globe to determine it as flat, which makes zero sense, by the way. Like I said, I said, mean sea level, showing high and low tides, breakers, swells, peaks, etc. Ranty, you seem to either leave out key points or add points in without a real explanation. I'll have an upload ASAP help you out. I also said, hey, by the way, if you want to, you can come on my live stream and I help you fix where you were wrong, or I'll go on your live stream. He decided he didn't want to do none of that stuff, so Ranty won't be here and I won't be appearing on his. Kind of sucks ass because one of us is wrong, and it'd be better if we figured this out together and sorted out the misunderstandings, so to speak. So he writes me back and says, "It's duh, it matters not if you are at high tide or low tide. Are you listening? The sea, well, plus waves will be higher than your toes are at where the sea reaches the shoreline. This," and then he basically says this is letters. I don't remember. It's not really that important. And I said, hey, have a hangout, and obviously he didn't want to. Kind of offensive, but here nor there. Let's see. But anyway, so I really broke it down, and okay, so he said that in his little rant there, he said that find his. Okay, so he said Ranty, exactly. It is low tide, high tide, or blah blah. Ranty Flat Earth, exactly. Is it low tide? Is it high tide? And in the observations of the boats obstructed, or then I'm telling him, in the observations of boats that are being obstructed, low tides, high tides, the swells, breakers, shell waves. I'll explain it because I can't say the word. But anyway, it's he wants to make it seem like what he or let me backtrack a little bit. I'm kind of thinking about ahead of myself. Okay, so what Randy has done is he's trying to depict that because of waves, breakers, swells, sea level, right, that the curve calculator can't be right. Right? So if that's the case, then what he's saying is that he's used the curve calculator to determine if it's correct or not, but he doesn't wait. Better yet, we'll go through his video now. rather than me talk through the whole thing, I'll just play it and stop it and correct it. Right? Seems best to me. Let's see if we got some more messages here I wanted you guys to see. Oh, okay, here we go. This is where he was saying that. It says, why focus on mean sea level? What is your issue here? Standing my feet on the water at the shoreline will be lower than the waves in the sea. Nice try. Oh, that was it. Okay, so again, he has a very grade school idea of how this all works. So I do want to correct it because it's insulting to me when people I know are in his chats or in Nathan's chats listening to this crap. And it's now crap because I tried being nice. You know, Ranty likes to. He's a real like don't hurt me type of guy. But then like when people are looking, he's like, "Urgh." So he had to flex his muscles, but at the same time, you can't flex muscles and be right. You're still wrong. So let's go through this wonderful little upload. And the best part about it now is that on this channel, I don't even have to give a his monetization. Not. You're right, straight. I don't care if you. All right, so that's gone. Okay, so capture. Yeah, no. Yep, it is big ranty. So we're gonna put it here bigger. Let's go through this. Let's figure this out. What's up, Mind and Manny? What's up, Rob? What's up, Race? What's up, Grizz? What's up, B-Ball? How you doing, sir? All right. Who else is here? What's up, Kurt? I see you there, man. You jump in. Um. So this is what's up. Again, I'm. It's not a debunking because he's not proving anything. All I'm doing is correcting his complete errors in what's going on. I mean, you'll see. If you haven't seen this already, understand that it's only going to be about 11 minutes long, but it'll span about 20 minutes because, yeah, he says a lot that's wrong. You guys can hear everything.
Ranty Flat Earth.
Yes.
Guest, how you doing? What did you want to present?
I had a little something for you guys. Might have presented it a little bit before, but just a bit more concise this time. If you've got 5 minutes to bear with me.
Yes, we absolutely have. You're presented, you're on screen, you're full screen, you're looking good.
Okie dokie. Right, okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is the curve calculator, because I know you guys hate using the curve calculator, but this is important because the Globers always want you to assume that when we're talking about the curve calculator in regards to a flat Earth, we always have to assume that it is sea level. So this little dotted line is denoting flat. The water.
And here we go. Okay. Again, likes to use words that favor flat Earth. To say that sea level flat doesn't make sense. First, we clearly understand that by now we should all clearly understand that flat can be level. Okay? Got that right? Perfect. but it also can be flat and not be level. So sea level, okay, well, I pretty much solved that one, right? Sea level is not a depicted line of flat, not a flat elevation. It's not a flat area that they decided to measure on. The sea level is a crude way saying where the ocean level is, but we do have a mean level. Mean sea level is not actually having anything to do with measuring at the water itself. Right? Let's show you exactly what it is. Anybody who follows Jesse, probably right off the bat, but I'm going to pull it up. Easy to go. What it is right here. Right here. See these? Geodetic points. Geodetic survey sites. So basically, there's a spot that these surveyors have depicted as what would be the best representation of sea level or mean sea level, and where they are plotting a point, its elevation. Damn. Sorry about that. But so again, and I'll go through this a little bit in a second. I kind of want to keep going through this Ranty upload. But again, the sea level or the mean sea level, ever one you're speaking of, is not flat. So Ranty's using the word flat and to depict sea level is disingenuous. I know he's been here long enough that he knows better.
Lying flat, because that's how they always want things to be. They want it to be measured. You standing next to the water, your height above the sea level, and that's it. So if you're stood by the water, your toes are in the water, you've got your tripod set to 4 feet. They want you to input 4 feet into the curve calculator as your height above sea level. And I'm going to show you how that's incorrect. And that's down to
Don't you love when I do that? I love when I do that. Okay, so it's my bad, guys. Again, one of the things that he's trying to depict here is that you would measure your observational height. Observational height from sea level to where your eye level or your observer height is. The issue is that you wouldn't measure from sea level, because sea level is wherever the level is at the time. Right? High tide, that's sea level. Low tide, that's sea level. The mean sea level is depicted between the two, is basically in between the tides. That dead spot right when everything becomes even. Problem is that we don't have even tides like that. So reason we have a mean sea level is so that when we are on a beach, we are in a bay, we are at a harbor, we're in the mountains, we're in the desert, we have a representation of our elevation depicted by surveying point. So again, the mean sea level elevation, 0, isn't measured at the shore. It's taken, it's the high tides, low tides that are annually happening. with the shelf, the continental shelf, especially here on the west coast that we have, those things factor in where the sea level is. But you'll see in a minute that the mean sea level is very different from a sea level. And then we're adding all these other things. You'll hear it. He adds things like in the last situation I had with Riley and Randy about Daza, the cameraman's footage. They added like just these random events that happen without researching what's happening, and that's why I'm doing this.
Do a host of things, including not only just the wave height but the swell. And to give you an indication of that, this is the formation of your normal waves, where you have a trough and you have a peak. So you have the amplitude, which is higher than sea level. Now the amplitude is always half the wave height, and wave heights can be calculated due to a number of different things, not just wind, but also the swell on certain days. So if we go to this is the Hawaiian education.edu. It's the University of Hawaii, and this is on their page over here. I've taken this image. There's lots of different images very similar to this, but it's exactly as it's meant to show. This red line is denoting sea level. So I'm going to show you a couple of images that I've put up here. And this is called the amplitude of a wave. And what we're going to look at here is if your camera is sat on this red line at the beach, and then you're looking out to sea, what you have is you get peaking waves, you get swell, you get the breakers. Well, essentially all these things are blockage higher than where your tripod is. Your tripod feet will be lower than the breakers, the peaking waves, and the swell as you're looking across water. And these can be measured by the WMO sea state code.
All right, so this is where we're going to stop again. Here's the issue. Number one, and I put in the chat. Did anyone catch misinformation? Or it's not even misinformation. It's disingenuous. Genuine. Damn, can't talk tonight. It's purposely doing. He purposely found a website in Hawaii. Now, I'm 100% positive where Ranty lives, he doesn't have a beach that is like Hawaii. It comes to waves. The information you're going to find at a website talks about waves. Matter of fact, the reason I felt I needed to do this so much is I live on the California coast, and if anyone who does live on the California coast can agree and know, we get, in Northern California, we get some of the biggest waves, as well as Hawaii does, right? So remember that. It's very, very, very important to understand that where the location he's getting the information from does not depict anywhere he's even observed. But there's a reason why people who have observed it will be able to hopefully pick this out.
And that's a combination of the when we go to tweeting the blockage, and that's just in a moderate sea state. Back up here again, if you'd set your tripod to 4 feet with your camera set right on the shore, like right where the water's lapping up, in a moderate sea state, you would have 4-foot waves in front of you. The height above the actual sea level would be 4 feet. Your camera will be set to 4 feet. So essentially you would be looking straight across from zero, from literally zero. And that's not including the white caps that happen when you get a speed of 22 to 27 kilometers per hour, which isn't that strong really. So when you get a wind speed of about 15 miles an hour, you start to see white caps on the top of these breakers and the peaking waves. Then you also get the spray that's being kicked up above these waves and when they're breaking. So if you have your camera set to 4 feet, you're not only looking through sea level, which is now level, but you're looking through all the spray and everything else that goes with it.
Okay, so here's the next part. The mind of Manny. I'm in San Diego. Yeah, so check this out. Okay, so done now. The impression this sea level is a constant, giving you the impression that any of these depicted data, yeah, number 4, which would be giving you moderate 4-foot, 8-foot, moderate size waves. Remember, first of all, a wave is measured not from its peak down; it's measured from the trough, which is below sea level. First of all, and anything above that red line it is added to it. So a 4-foot wave isn't 4 feet above the sea level. And when I say the sea level, we're using the sea level as in the water froze and we can. So again, that red line, which depicts sea level, is not 0 for the height of a wave. So a 4-foot wave is not 4 feet above sea level. A 4-foot wave with a 1-foot trough is 3 feet high. So on and so on and so on. It's kind of also the way we can have a 30-foot wave with a 10-foot swell because their wave travels underwater as well. They're all different effects that happen in water, currents, with the continental shelf, which we'll go over in a second, which is kind of what he tried to BS about. But I'm going to show you again that he's being disingenuous about this stuff. And I know a lot of you guys are going, damn, you're nitpicking. But the words that everything I'm nitpicking, someone who doesn't know this information is going to understand it completely wrong. Go back in. Again, guys, it's open panel. If you guys would like, you can jump on and join in on the fun. What I wanted to do is, because he was talking about how breaker waves, swells, in this depicted chart here, being 4 feet high. He also added, along with the spray and you guys have seen wave breakers that when it hits hard, they crash everywhere, right? But then that got me thinking. When we look at observations, we're not seeing. We're not seeing all these waves and breakers and swells that he keeps talking about. Because again, none of these things are constant. They do have breaks in them. They have different intervals, frequencies, speeds, amplitude. Like, there's a lot of things that factor into these things. And it would have to be a perfect storm of his magnitude to make a 4-foot obstruction as far out as you can see. And again, I see some flat earthers in here. If I'm wrong, please tell me where you believe I'm wrong. That's what I want. I wanted Ranty to come here, so if I was wrong about something, he could have pointed out. I want to, though. Like I said, again, already depicted that a 4-foot obstruction is a 4-foot wave. But it is very, very, very necessary to make it clear. A wave is not measured from sea level up. If it was, we would have a 2-foot wave that is actually a 4-foot wave. So the way his information is wrong. So, like I said, talking about the breaker spray and peaks and all that, this is the way waves work. It's all the everything, right? Well, I was thinking about that and I went, wait, the observations being made of boats being obstructed by curvature are in storms or anything. None of those observations are in bad weather. Like, I don't get where he's getting this, right? So I looked up boats, rough water. I noticed something. Yeah, we don't, none of the observations could possibly be made and then use swells, white water spray, all that. Like, none of those things make any sense. And I realized, as I was listening to this, it's a pile of disinformation that gets you all jumbled up on how it works, so that at the end, when he says, "And I'm done," you go, "Wow, he had a presentation." But people need to be fact checking these. That's where I come in, because Ranty gives that information out to thousands of people. And I said my apologies last stream, and I mean it. Seek and find. I do apologize. You aren't my issue. Like Ranty are the issue, because honestly, in your search for truth, you hear these type of people, and if it's something that you may not know about, you're going to be more likely to take their word for it than mine, just because of the shape, which isn't good. It's not right. But if as long as I can, one person out there, one flat earther hears me and goes, "Let me go and recheck Ranty's information," then I'm not wasting my time. That's for damn sure. So, like I said, I found these videos. There's hundreds. So, again, I mean, I'm only going to play like 2 seconds at a time, and none of these are going to really make sense to the obstruction. But I want you to notice something. I'll get back into it. I'm sorry about that. I thought you were still. Um, I just want you to just understand what we're going to be looking at, because if swells, breakers, peak waves, and all these things were a factor, wouldn't our observations look like this? Wouldn't observations at least look like this? I mean, you can see how rough that water is. You can see the white caps in the distance. Curvature stuff hidden, but that's here nor there. um, but I mean, be honest, you can see white caps in the distance, so we know this water is rough. See, the boats are not in calm water. Even the big ship in the back is moving about, up its wing. See the white caps all around it, not just along its bow. Those are things that aren't depicted in observations for boats having obstruction, right? So I want to get that across, and okay. So let me get back in chat. Let me see. What's up, Vinny? How you doing? Zeke, I haven't heard. That's Ranty's. No, it's not Ranty's business at all. It's everyone's business. If Ranty was, just jotting down information, that'd be one thing, because then that's on him to find that. But if he's going on to a platform where thousands will hear him, and he's giving information or giving incorrect information, you don't believe that that's something that should be said, something that should be corrected? That's not his business. It became all of our business when he put the information out there.
4 feet. Your camera will be set to 4 feet. So essentially, you would be looking straight across from zero, from literally zero. And that's not.
I don't even know where to start. Again, he's not shooting from zero. You're not shooting with a 4-foot observer height across 4-foot waves. That it doesn't work that way. And he said something earlier, and that kind of counters what he's trying to even explain. He said, "How is it that?" You said the waves and the swells and these breakers are above your toes when you're standing at the beach, coming to shore. And the reason why we're able to have a sea level and a mean sea level where it's at, and still have water occasionally get above sea level, it's not a constant. Again, it's not like a flat layer that's moving. It's waves. So we see these ups and downs. We see the swells. We see the boats being pushed around by the swell. Like, there are obvious things that really matter. And okay, so you can find the reason I put his name in the title is because I went over to his channel and asked him, and the comments said that there were things that were not correct, and I corrected him, and then he the one that decided that I was completely wrong, and my idea of how it works is wrong, but it's not, because I kind of in my job, those things kind of matters, kind of where that's like starting point surveying, like where's sea level, what's mean sea level, where are these geodetic points, like all those things matter, and he's throwing those out, so it's kind of offensive.
Including the white caps that happen when you get a speed of 22 to 27 kilometers per hour, which isn't that strong really. So when you get a wind speed of about 15 miles an hour, you start to see white caps on the top of these breakers and the peaking waves. Then you also get the spray that's being kicked up above these waves and when they're breaking. So if you have your camera set to 4 feet, you're not only looking through sea level, which is now level, but you're looking through all the spray and everything else that goes with it. To give you another indication of, this is how the globers would like you to present yourself. If you're looking from point A to point B over a body of water, they want you, like I say, to put your elevation where your tripod feet are next to the water, above sea level. Not taking into account all this obstruction, these waves right here across this entire section. So I think it's incorrect the way they've tried to trick us into calculating this without taking into account the sea state. One last thing I want to talk about is something called wave shoaling as well. And this is taken from, where's it taken from? Let me just bring it up. So that wave shoaling. So this is taken from wave shoaling here on Wikipedia. If we go back to the image, I'll just read it off what it says. It says, in shallow water and parallel depth contours, non-breaking waves will increase in wave height as the wave packet enters shallow water. Now, to give you an indication of where that might happen, we go over to Rottnest Island, because there's been a few images taken from Rottnest Island. And what we've got here is we've got like a line of sight out to some deep water. So across this ledge here, we've got an elevation drop of around about 50 to 60 meters in total over this 15-mile stretch. But then up this shelf here, this darker area is where the shelf starts. And just at this point here, we're already down to nearly 600 meters in depth. So in a space of, what are we looking at there? In a space of 6 miles, it's gone from 600 meters in depth to 60 meters. Now that is what you call a shelf. So when the tide's pushing in, it's literally doing exactly what it's going to say on what happens with wave shoaling. In shallow water and parallel depth contours, which is this, non-breaking waves, which means that it will just be a raise in the water level, will increase in wave height as the wave packet enters shallow water. So I'm just going to put a little indication of what that would do to your boat here. As the water's pushing in and it's starting to shoal, you're going to get some increase in height in these areas here as the water's pushing in. And that is going to be blockage from you trying to view it from the shoreline. And if you're looking at a boat and you're asking, why do things disappear from the bottom up? Well, if it's shoaling in these areas, this is what's going to happen.
Haha, good thing I wasn't saying anything. I was trying to find something. Ha. So here's what it is. So the way what he's depicting is okay. First of all, you guys are gonna hear my typing from now on because that's why I keep muting myself so you don't have to hear it. But now you do. So my bad. Again.
Hey, you muted, bro.
Yeah, no. Thanks to I just realized it, and but it was because I'm sure you guys can hear when I'm typing. So I've been trying to mute it while I type, but the problem is I forget. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right.
And I want to say again, I do apologize to you. I mean, the back and forth that's going to
Sean, you don't
happen.
gotta keep apologizing, bro. So
No, dude, because real
dude.
shit, I feel bad because the back and forth and the arguing that's fine. That's nothing. I mean, we that shit for years, but I rode you like I you had a flat Earth responsibility like Ranty puts out there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like you have your beliefs and like talking about them. You have questions, but you're not pushing your belief, and that's what I care about. People that are pushing that are wrong. You don't do that. So I know I've apologized 1,000 times, but I feel guilty for it. Honestly.
Well, to me, it struck me as kind of weird, just because I feel like this. I feel like out of all people, you should have some kind of sympathy for flat Earth because you was a flat earther. So you blowing up and getting mad like that. Was kind of weird behavior to me. But
No,
that's me. That's me. You know
no,
what I'm saying?
you're 100% right. The issue was, and I actually sat and thought about this a lot. I I depicted it to be like, okay, well, if I didn't understand, and I feel like I understand it now, so it's kind of like a progression. I can't expect everyone to be the same, but at the same time, I didn't expect the people flat Earth coming at me like they are right now, and I didn't expect people like Chris Berry, who just will constantly push something that's not true. I really didn't I didn't see it as clearly as I do now when I was a flat earther. That the way we I used to argue, the way flat Earth argues. And when I say that, I'm talking people like Chris who are pushing what they believe, regardless. You know what I mean? That's those are those type of red flags to me where you just push, and you're not willing to back up and see if maybe you missed something. That's the red flag for me. And see, fine, you never did it, so I shouldn't have done it at all. Um, Again, you're probably gonna hear it from me about at least 30, 40 more times. So that's just the way it is. But like I was saying, he just the main reason I was doing this is because Ranty is someone that you would consider a flat Earth uh, information creator. Putting out that information for flat Earth, and flat Earth. A lot of flat Earthers take his information as good. So if he's saying it wrong, but I know it's wrong,
Okay, break it down for me. I really don't know what I kind of missed. I was getting my son a bath, so
Okay, yeah, no
I
worries.
kind of missed what you was doing. So
Okay, so Randy did an upload basically saying that the globe's depiction of sea level or the mean sea level line is wrong, because if you use a curve calculator over the ocean, it won't work. And that's kind of like where it kind of just falls apart for him. Like that doesn't make sense, for one, because sea level isn't a constant. It rises and it lowers. It's different at different beaches, depicting on, if it has a shelf, if it has steep beach, or some of them are like relatively flat, and that whole area gets flooded. It's crazy, like Florida. So the idea of what he's saying, it really throws off information. It really makes things look different. Where I'm probably not going to get that far into this upload, but if you guys watch, the link's in the description. But when you watch it, if you get to the end of it, one of the guys on the panel, and Ranty, agrees that these 4-foot waves that he's talking about is the reason why we can't see across oceans. And these are all red flags to me. So again, to say that sea level is flat is disingenuous. It's not correct.
so what is it?
It's level. It's finding its level, not flat.
Okay, so what is that?
I'm
When
sorry.
we talk about liquids, what does that mean to you?
Sea level when it
Or a
Yeah.
liquid? You agree that like water is a natural level, right?
it will naturally level itself. Yeah,
It's a
find
natural
its level.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the surface looking like because it's leveling out? What is the surface doing?
Well, that's the problem, because an ocean is constantly moving. It's constantly high
Well,
tide,
we got
constantly low
ponds,
tide.
lakes, swimming
But
pools,
we're talking,
small water. It's all
we're
doing the
talking
same
ocean
thing.
now. That's the
So the
problem.
ocean is different water than everything else.
Well, yeah, if you're saying a pond or a lake, yeah.
Okay, all right. It's got salt in it, so because it's got salt in it, the behavior changes on the surface of it.
Well, yeah, yeah. Also the currents.
Hold on, you never explained what level is. Sorry, I'm a little tired. I've been driving. I've been driving all day.
It's parallel
A little
to
tired.
the center of Earth gravitational pull.
Okay, so you're talking about a force making it not be flat on the top, because that wouldn't mean level.
Not flat.
That flat and level got nothing to do with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah,
not flat on the top. So what is it on the surface if it's not flat when we talking about level?
Well, see, that's why we have the terms that we have. So the sea level is where the water's at that time. So a high tide, that's sea level. Low tide, that's sea level. But the mean sea level is the in between. That's that middle part. That's a zero of tides, and that would be what depicted as zero. And even that isn't depicted from the shore. It's more of a geodetic site that is then countered to a beach. There's not geodetic sites on. And it's a ocean and a lake and a river. Either way, they're so different because of the situation, because of nature. One has all the elements of the world on it, whereas a lake only has certain amounts. It's not going to get the same wind.
So you don't believe in micro and macro. Like if I show you something on a small scale that if I didn't change it and make it a bigger scale, that it somehow changes that. So like, so like the lakes,
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So
right?
because
but the ocean ain't,
so because they're smaller, why do they act different? If they're still, they're still water,
back to
basically,
water
right?
being level, Sean.
Okay.
You agree that it's level. We got that.
Well,
We can move on.
Yeah.
It's level,
In a nutshell, yes.
I was trying to ask you what is the behavior of the surface of it, and you kind of like threw some word salad at me and waffled on about
okay.
something. You didn't really answer what the behavior of the surface of the water because it's level. What is it doing on the surface?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Well, then it would depend on conditions, 100%. Because I guess there are places that get will be or in the ocean. I guess sailors hate. It's like their worst nightmare where it's just the dead calm, no wind, nothing. In that situation, the water is going to be level. It's going to find its level. It's almost no waves, probably. Luckily, I've never been 100 miles out, so I don't know. But I have seen it. But if it's a light wind, it's going to be a little wavy. High winds, it's going to get choppy. And then once you get towards the beach where it starts becoming shallow, that's when you're going to get those waves. When you're going to get the waves.
So you're saying waves is the curve?
No, absolutely not. Waves are just depicted by wind. It depends on the wind.
But if it was
currents,
if it wasn't wavy, it would be flat then, right?
No, it would be level. That was good though. I like that.
So you see, I mean, you gotta. Okay, so now you're making me want to ask you, right?
Go ahead, man.
We gotta go back to.
We're good.
We gotta go back to what made you a flat earther in the first fucking place, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was going through your mind? Walk me through that,
man. You walk outside, look around, and get about what?
So that was it. That was it. We just that simple that we just.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. My flat Earth. What led me to be a flat earther was me looking around, and it looked flat. And when I thought about a globe in my head, I couldn't depict a globe of the sheer size of it. In my head, I couldn't piece anything together, and so it made flat Earth a lot easier because I could piece together what I see right in front of me. It's me exactly what I assumed it would be. I didn't understand globe. I thought I knew more than I did when I started debating.
So now you have this profound knowledge of the globe now. So what's gravity? In your eyes, because there's a couple different.
Okay, so
in your eyes, what is it?
Okay, so are we going scientific, or do you want just Sean's opinion?
I want to know what Sean thinks.
Okay, cool.
I'm here to talk to you, bro.
Okay, so I'm asking because if you want a scientific opinion, then I got to look it up, and I want to make sure that I'm correct. If I'm giving you my interpretation of it, then I'm going to give you more of a caveman version. But it'll. What gravity is to me is a.
Well, you said you didn't Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just stop you before you go. You said you got this understanding now. That's what made you go back to the globe. So.
Yeah.
I'm ready to hear that. And one of my questions is about gravity because I don't understand gravity, and I don't think a lot of people do.
Want to know from flat Earth to globe, right?
No, I want to know what you think gravity is.
Oh, okay.
So I can, yeah.
Okay, it's a force that is basically pulling us down at a consistent rate, or consistent acceleration, I guess. What it is, I have no clue. Where it comes from, not even close to having a clue.
So it's pulling us down it's a force, an acceleration. I hear globe believers a lot of the time say that we feel acceleration. So do you feel like you feel gravity?
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. I'm 37 years old. I'm 37 years old. I did extreme sports my whole life. Yes. When I get up, I feel gravity. I feel on every joint in my body.
That's fascinating, man.
It is.
I don't feel it, so I guess we got a contradiction.
Wait. So when you do a pull-up, you don't have to use strength?
When I do a pull-up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to pull my weight up.
What are you pulling against?
I got to pull my weight up. I'm pulling my weight up. I'm pulling the rest of my weight that's at the bottom of my body. I'm pulling that up.
Okay, so then what makes your weight?
So if I'm just standing up, right? I'm just standing up. You're saying gravity is doing what?
That feeling.
So we're getting sucked down to the center of the earth.
The feeling of weight is because of gravity.
Okay, so then I would ask you this, right?
Yeah.
And I've asked you this before. Going back to the water.
Oh, good.
Water, when forces are applied to them, they show the effect.
Yes, sir.
If I smack some water, it's gonna fly off in the air.
Yep, but
If
then what is
the
it going
wind
to do?
blows on some water, it's
But
going to
what
make
does
some
it do?
waves, some
What does
ripples.
it do when you
Okay,
smack that
what
water?
is this
Hang on.
force?
When you smack the
What is,
water,
I haven't asked you the question yet. Why are you cutting me off? I haven't asked you the question.
my bad, because
Oh, you already know what it is. Okay, go ahead. You already know what
my
it is.
bad. Go ahead, my bad.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. You're
I
saying
know,
this force is constantly doing stuff. You feel it, but the water, what is the water doing? Because the water would feel it too, and it would show an effect from feeling it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so when you smack the water, water will, water will fly up, right? Oh no, that
Now let
make a
me
mess.
let me throw my observed phenomenon out there. I see reflections in still bodies of water.
That has nothing to do with gravity.
My observed phenomenon is reflections in still bodies of water.
Are you asking me cause? Are you asking me the effect? Like I don't. You're not.
Well, I'm just saying we're talking
Okay,
about
so
what the surface of the water is
okay,
doing.
so we're
Sean. I
starting
got
over.
a baby step that we're
Oh,
walking.
okay, so we're starting over. We're starting at step one. Standing somewhere and you see your observation is water. No wind.
Level water.
Level water. Wind.
Right.
Okay.
Barney, you answer the question, man.
No, keep going. Say it again, because I would like to answer it.
I don't want to dance around it. I think Barney's going to dance around it too.
Well, no. I'd like you to ask it again, a little bit more clear, because to me, okay, hang on, just hear what you said. You said, I observe a still body of water. I see a reflection on that still body of water.
Okay, let me rephrase it for you, man. When contained water is at rest, it's flat on the top. It's level. Yes or no?
Level, yes. Water in a cup,
So
water in a bowl.
That doesn't mean that it's in a flat orientation on the surface. To you, I'm just curious about what you think.
It's not flat. Level. Because
so when you were a flat earther, you weren't thinking that flat and level can be synonymous and used in the same sentence.
No,
you can't use flat and level. I can't use flat and level in the same sentence.
Certain situations, absolutely, but in my profession, no, I can't say flat and level are the same thing at all.
They're not the same thing.
No, they're not.
They're different. They're different words, Sean. They're not the
They're
same
different
thing,
words. They have different meanings.
They can be interchanged and can be synonymous. Yes. Level and curve can. That's where you.
So level and flat only works.
So make that jump for me.
So
Go ahead, make that jump.
And you have level and flat. Fine, can you?
Yes, you can have level and not. You can have flat and not level.
Okay, so
I understand
therefore, then they're not interchangeable.
Not all the time. I'm saying they can be. They can
one
be.
time.
Listen to what I'm saying.
One time.
They can be.
One time. When flat is level,
it can be.
That's the only time.
Come on, man. Don't act like you don't understand what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're saying. When flat is level is the only time. Barney, am I wrong?
We're talking about liquids here. We're talking about liquids here.
That's a very complicated question. Can I ask you something? This is a question for both of you. Is this paper flat?
Yes.
Is it a trick question or not? Like lay it on the table.
It's not.
Don't hold it like that.
I'm just trying to gauge your understanding because my understanding is different and it's confusing me.
Yeah,
and I want to see what you're talking about. Is this paper flat? Both of you. Signified? Yes?
Yes.
Is this paper flat?
See, I knew it was coming. It was like it wasn't flat when you were kind of holding in the beginning, but
no, I mean, it's not flat. It has
yes, it is.
It has flat spots.
Okay, so my understanding is this paper is still flat. It's bent.
Flat.
It's bent, but it's flat.
Right.
And regardless of how you turn it around and how you bend it, it will always be flat. Why? Because its geometry is such that you can flatten it out without distorting it. Things that are curved, such as the surface of a bowl, cannot be flattened out without distorting them. Regardless of what their curvature is, right? So things that are flat are things that can get flattened out. They're not just things which are straight, things which are composed in a plane. They're things which can be straightened out into a plane. Because you can have flatness in higher dimensions. You can have three-dimensional flatness.
Sorry.
Yeah. And level is parallel to the ground or orthogonal to the direction of gravity. And depending on whether you're on a flat Earth or on a curved Earth, on a globe, that may mean different things.
It may mean different things or doesn't.
It means different things. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's
what's
still,
the difference?
So when you say it's parallel to the ground, it's parallel to the ground in both of those cases. When you say it's perpendicular to the gravity, it's perpendicular to the gravity in both of those cases. It's just that the shape is different.
Okay, so do you agree with my line of questioning that I gave Sean about the force, and how water that shows the effects of forces when they're applied to it?
You want to hear me sound like the biggest flat earther ever? Gravity is not a force. The force of gravity that you feel is the electromagnetic repulsion pushing you up.
Oh, man.
I hate you, Barney. It's seeking fine. I think we should team up on Barney now.
Okay, so what is gravity, Barney?
Gravity.
It's not a force. It's not a force anymore. Everybody heard that, right? It's not a force.
No,
anymore.
wait. Stop.
Because if it was a force,
no, seeking fine. His belief it is not a force. I believe it is a force. You believe it's not real. We all have different opinions. His opinion does not mean mine.
I wouldn't jump to saying it's not real. I don't think it's mass attracting mass, and I don't think it's curvature of space-time. So okay. I think something's going on, but it's neither of those things.
Okay, but
I do buy into we can prove the electromagnetic force, but every time you try to use that, it's shot down. So,
well, I mean, what I was trying to depict is I was just depicting that we have different views. One person's view can't be pushed on everyone. That was all I was saying, because that was what's been going on with Ranty.
I got you. So just to make this clear, because I like to I don't want to project this on y'all.
You're good. Don't even worry about it. I'm not.
I hear it. You know what I'm saying? That it's like, flat earthers can't agree on anything, and all of us ball earthers, man, we got it down packed or whatever. I've heard this a lot.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that y'all two disagreeing right now.
Oh hell yeah! I in fact I've always disagreed with a lot of people, so nothing new.
Gotcha.
I can try to untangle that if you think that'll help. So gravity, if you're looking in a straight coordinate system in Cartesian units, yes, you can model it as a force and you can measure it, and that's all fine. The best understanding of gravity, the most accurate one, the one that where the prediction and the measurement align to the highest possible degree, is general relativity. In general relativity, it is not a force. It is simply the curvature of space-time. What that means, and there's an example which shows that it's not a force, right? If you're in an enclosed space, which is falling down towards the Earth, or which is in orbit, or which is in any effect where gravity as a force is acting upon it, you cannot tell whether you're just freely flying through space or you're falling down. With every other force, if the force is acting upon you, you're experiencing acceleration. You're being pressed against the container that you're moving in. You can feel it in your body. In this case, you can't feel anything. There is no device which will measure it, right? So it's not a force. It is literally moving in a straight line in a curved space. Only when you hit the Earth and the Earth starts resisting you and pushing you away, resisting your free motion, pushing you off your preferred path, do you feel a force. And then you feel a force. You feel it pushing on your feet, and you feel it weighing you down from above. That's the force that you feel. And that's the resistance of the Earth, which is an electromagnetic force between the electrons in your feet and the electrons in the atoms of the surface you're standing on.
Is this curvature of space-time you're talking about?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, go through that one more time if you don't mind for me, because I've never heard anybody really try to explain it. You know what I'm saying? It seems, you know, to me that you still need some kind of force there, but just to make things stick to a ball. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
To me,
so
you know.
The shortest distance between 2 points is always a straight line, right? And straight lines do not deviate in any way. And whenever you deviate from a straight line, you will experience some acceleration, and you will feel that acceleration bouncing you around. You will feel those forces as you change direction, right?
Yeah.
With gravity, that doesn't happen. When you move from point A to B in a circular motion, you're not being thrown about. You don't feel any force acting upon you, pushing you around, or anything like that. You're in perfect equilibrium. There is no force acting upon you. The shortest possible distance, that straight line, just happens to go like this, because it is a straight line through curved space-time. There is no force acting. It is the shortest, and right. That's
so in
what,
any other instance, we would think that we would feel that if you're taking a sine wave motion instead of a straight line. So why is it in this special case of gravity we wouldn't feel it? Why? So, what's making us not feel it? Is, I guess,
the explanation by general relativity is literally that you are moving in a straight line. You are moving along a geodesic. The space-time happens to be distorted by the mass that is there, and that is the origin of the force of gravity. Or you can say that the mass acts with the force of gravity to distort space-time. But your movement along that space-time is a straight line, as straight as possible through space-time. It just, when you continue that movement, you find yourself in the same spot again.
Okay, Barney, so I got a real important question to ask. All right. So
go ahead.
When you say bending of space-time, to me, I mean, we're talking about gravity here in this atmosphere, and you're talking about bending of space-time. It's just, can you see how that's just like, it's throwing me off, man. You know, like.
So
bending of space-time is going on all around us constantly. Can you see how, somebody would see that as, not really truth. Go ahead. Sorry.
So if you take a measurement in reality and you make a prediction of what that measurement is going to be, and those two things misalign, what can you say? Is the reality wrong, or is your prediction wrong?
Okay, you say we see two things in reality and they're misaligned?
No, you take a measurement in reality and you predict something from your model, and those things disagree, which is wrong, right? If you cannot predict what you're going to measure in reality, your prediction, your model is wrong. It doesn't matter how simple it is, how intuitive it is. If it doesn't coincide with what you can see in reality, it is by default wrong. And if your model is weird and unintuitive and hard to think about, but it gives you the exact prediction that you see in reality, that you can measure, and that you can measure to incredible degrees of precision, and draw new predictions from, that keep for a century keep being correct and correct and correct and correct, then you kind of have to say, well, I guess that thing is at least very, very close to what actually is real.
I see what you're trying to say, but you got to understand too that predictions cannot be held as proof for some of us. If it's, this, red, green, red, green, red, green. Okay, but you still, what's the how? How is, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like they can, the stars, I believe, have been here for however long this earth has been around. And if they, if if we've been along, for that long, if we've been around for that long, then they got a cycle, man. It's a cycle. The sky is doing a cycle, and it's been doing this cycle for ever. And they know the cycle. Okay, so that has nothing to do with how we were talking about level water earlier. Like, explain to me this level meaning curve and this force. Now you're saying it's not a force. You got to understand, Barney.
I am. So look, a lot of Globers will disagree with me, and I've just been in the Discord hangout where like a lot of people don't understand general relativity, and I can't help them with that, right? The only thing I can say is go and get schooled, right? The fact that we agree on the final outcome doesn't mean that we agree always on anything being said. I've had these questions that you have, and I went and looked for the best possible answers, and there is an answer which covers it entirely. And your objection is okay if the predictions were coming from previous observations. If you were noticing cycles and were using those previous cycles to predict the next cycle, that is one way to do it. However, what Einstein did is he gave an explanation, and you can take that explanation and turn it into a mathematical model. And from that model, without keeping track of the previous cycles, you can predict what's going to happen next. And you can predict things that we have never measured and never seen before, that are completely beyond our any experiential knowledge, which are completely unintuitive. And for 100 years, time and time again, experiment after experiment, new observation after new observation, he's been right. And there is a point where you just have to go and say, look, this is completely unintuitive. This is completely weird. My brain doesn't work with this information the way it's presented, but it is apparently true. That's
I don't think every observation is right, because they wouldn't invoke this dark matter stuff. But that's just my qualm with what you just said. I don't think every observation of the sky, they wouldn't invoke this dark matter if every observation they were making up there was correct.
1 second, guys. What is up, fam? How you doing, sir?
What up, Big Dre? What up, man?
What's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you been, man?
Nope. I'm chilling, bro.
So, Barney, you got anything to say about this dark matter? Because the way I understand it, you could correct me if I could be wrong about this right here, but the way I understand it is that they, with mass attracting mass, right? The bigger the mass is, right, the smaller things will attract to this big mass. They saw something up there where it was like a small thing is attracting bigger things to it, and they invoke dark matter. That's my understanding of it. If I'm wrong,
it's way more complicated than that.
So, on an abstract level, there is a difference between seeing something that hasn't been predicted versus having your predictions confirmed, right? All the predictions that were made were confirmed, and we found new stuff which wasn't predicted. Now, there are other reasons why we can kind of know that general relativity needs to be amended, or quantum physics needs to be amended, and that's a problem because those two are the best systems that we have, and each of them, as we test them, keep getting confirmed, but they don't work well together. And we're working on it, and we're still exploring, and the process of science is not over. We don't know everything. There are limits to our knowledge. Right?
Okay, what are you talking about? Wait. Oh, sorry, go ahead. I thought you were
about dark matter. So when dark matter was discovered, it was discovered by noticing that the stars at the edge of the galaxy are moving faster than they should. Almost as though outside the galaxy, and there is more mass that we just cannot see, which isn't occluding anything. And at that point, there were two possible solutions. One solution was we got gravity wrong. And that was the first one that everybody caught on to, and that's what you're saying, right? Since there is black matter, the possible solution is we got gravity wrong. And the other solution is there is something out there that we haven't yet seen and don't know what it is. And we obviously, it doesn't obscure anything, it doesn't interact with light, it for every other effect except for gravity, it acts as though it's not there, but it might be better. So as long as the effect is uniformly distributed around the universe, you can have those two choices. However, we have found galaxies and stars and places where galaxies collide, where dark matter and normal matter have been separated completely, where there are galaxies without dark matter. One was confirmed just literally a couple of months ago. And if there is a galaxy without dark matter, then it's not a matter of we don't understand gravity and gravity works differently. It has to be that there is something there is some of it here and none of it here. Where it's there, it shows up as that gravitational effect, and where it's not, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? If it was uniform all around, then gravity could work differently.
Yeah, you see how the water on this ball, how it flings off? Well, the easiest way to explain it, dark matter makes that not happen. The water, the stars, essentially, which are the droplets, don't get flung off into space. There's something, a mass.
Well, Barney, you had said that they looked up there and saw the stars moving faster, right, at like the edge of space or somewhere, as far as they could see or whatever.
So you know how?
Yeah. The speed at which they were moving, if they were moving at that speed with our known laws of gravity and no additional source of mass beyond what we had calculated, they would just continue moving straight and move away. They would be flung off the galaxy.
Yeah. Look, let me show you real quick. Pen. A little pin. Right, there it is. Okay, so on the picture I'm sharing right now, see this area here, that area, compared to out here. Though in this picture, the droplets in the center are traveling faster. Droplets on the outside. Well, the way we're seeing these galaxies is that the outside is rotating as fast as center. And the only way for that to happen if there was enough mass to hold the stars from.
I think Barney disagrees with you, bro. But I was just curious, man, to hear that spiel on dark matter. It was sort of interesting. I really don't have a rebuttal because I don't really know much about dark matter, as you could see from my question. But I just, no
one does. That's the thing. No one has
the curvature of space-time. It's the curvature of space-time. We don't live in space, so
you live in
and
space.
I don't see no curve. So.
You don't live in space. Is there a meter of space in front of you?
It sounds like some superhero stuff, like curving space-time, man. It's like
no. When we talk about space-time, we're not talking about space as in that thing which is beyond the atmosphere. Okay. We're talking about space, that thing which we measure in inches and centimeters and meters, and like space is the distance, the dimensions.
And this is curving.
Yes.
Okay.
So. What Einstein figured out with special relativity is that if the speed of light is it's a bit of a long story, but before Einstein, there was a guy called Maxwell, which found the solution to the electromagnetic to electromagnetism, and he set it about in 8 formulas, which kind of have to work everywhere in the universe and are equal for everybody, regardless of who they are and how fast they're moving, and right. Otherwise, your computer would stop working when you're in your car, just because you're moving or it would be working when you're going. It would be working in the summer, but not in winter, and stuff like that. the within his formulas, stemming from his formulas, is the definition of the speed of light. Why the speed of light is exactly what it is. It is the speed of causality. And it is one number regardless of how fast you're moving in whichever direction. That was considered a paradox. That was impossible for any concept of speed or time or space that we know of. Einstein solved that problem mathematically by kind of uncovering that space can change and time can change, but there is a conserved quantity, a space-time interval, which is always the same for everybody. Basically, how much you take away from space when you move, that much you add to time, and vice versa. And he found a way to calculate from one observer's point of view to another observer's point of view. First, he did it just for movement, and that was special relativity. And then he focused on gravity and accelerating systems, and that's where the math gets really complicated and the concepts gets really mind-boggling. But the solution that he has works out always for every observer in every frame of reference.
Okay, I just got one more question for you, Barney, and I'm gonna let Dre get in if you want to get in. And I don't want this conversation to derail. I just kind of want to, like, a yes or no. You don't really have to explain. Are you atheist?
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind having a conversation about that like another time? We don't have to do it here, but
I don't mind doing it here or anywhere else. Your channel, my channel.
Want to do it now? Go ahead.
I mean, okay. One of the things I would ask you is, you don't think that there's, like, even like you explaining what you was just explaining right there with the curvature of space-time, you don't think that all these cosmic coincidences, like, point to a creator? That would be my question on this.
They don't discount a creator, right? If there is a creator, then that is how he created the universe.
But you don't see, like even with the, so are you like the Big Bang? You think the Big Bang is factual?
I don't think it's factual. I think it's the best hypothesis that we have right now. It's not a singular hypothesis. There are several different models of the Big Bang. Until we figure out if there was an inflation, what model of inflation it was, what is dark matter, what is dark energy, right? Those are the things that we are exploring right now. And there are many speculations, many hypotheses, and many proposed models of how it could work. Some of those work, some of those are being eliminated and thrown away right now, such as what I've just told you, like the theory of modified gravity as explanation for dark matter was discounted 2 months ago. Right? But science is not all, we're still so I can say that I provisionally accept the Big Bang. It is the best explanation that we have so far, but let's say when compared to general relativity as an explanation for gravity, it's nowhere near. It's just speculative. It doesn't work in so many ways that we can genuinely and sincerely say we don't know yet. We just kind of think that it's that.
Would you agree that a lot of things had to come together in conjunction in order for life to be the way that it is as today as we know it?
Absolutely.
A lot of perfect things had to come in conjunction together in order for life to be here. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
And you think this is just happenstance, or it just kind of happened on its own?
If we're talking about what I know, then the answer is I don't know. I don't know if it's happenstance. As I said, if Big Bang is speculative, then the singularity is even more speculative, and seeing beyond the singularity at what might have caused it we're well in the realms of philosophy and metaphysics there. drawing conclusions there, right? We can talk about it. We can like I will have an enjoyable conversation with you about the philosophy behind it and what I think about it. But that's well outside of the realm of any kind of knowledge, right?
Belief.
If you're asking me for my belief, I still don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is. I just see no reason to invoke a creator, right? If God was evident and manifest, if when I open up my heart and invite God in, and God comes and says, "Here I am," and I know that He's there, then that God can be a candidate for a creator and for the creation. But until there is such a God, I have no reason to invoke Him. Right? Then I just don't know.
I can see you saying you don't know. Do you believe atheism is a belief? Or do you think it's just like...
Yes. I am a positive atheist. I believe that there is no God.
Okay.
I believe that there is nothing supernatural. I'm a physicalist, right? A naturalist.
All right.
Those, if you're asking me what I believe, those are my beliefs, right?
You believe there's no God?
Yes.
You don't see any evidence for a God?
Depends on
even like all these cosmic coincidences.
I see a lot of evidence that can be ascribed to God. It's just that it's not conclusive enough. It cannot be ascribed only to God, nor can it be ascribed to a single God, nor, right? It's the same thing as string theory. It's a hypothesis which explains everything, even the things that don't exist, right? And that does not do it for me.
Okay.
Right? If I say God makes things, God manifests gravity, the answer to the question of when I let this lighter drop, it goes that way, is because God. However, the question to the answer of why did that lighter go up is also because God. And why did that lighter turn into a petunia is also because God. Then that's not an answer. That's not an explanation. If it can explain everything that isn't, why everything that doesn't exist exists, then that's not an explanation.
What about the things science can explain? Do you think science is always going to be have all the answers for everything?
No, I think that there are limits to our possible knowledge. There are limits to our cognition overall. There are things that we cannot think about by the limitation of what we are. We might solve some of those things by networking. We might solve some of those things by creating intelligences greater than ours, or things that can think in different ways than us. But
I think science is studying God because it's studying the natural world, and that's something that God created. In my eyes, He created us, and He created the earth. So I think the closer we get to, this is just my belief, the closer we are to, getting to nature and studying nature like science claims to do or whatever. I know they got to get a lot of stuff from nature, but I'm just saying, I think that's two things that you can't, if you're a believer in a creator, deny that He created us and He created the creation, which is the earth. So
yes, studying. So even though scientists are predominantly atheists or have a higher percentage of atheists than other groupings of people overall, there are religious scientists, like genuine scientists. And the endeavor of science started from religious origins. People were trying to look at what God has created, to look at His creation and admire what He has created. You don't admire what He has created by closing your eyes and looking away and saying, "Oh God, I love you for creating the firmament," when you can go out there and up there and look at the firmament and see that it's not there, right? You don't want to praise the God for a lie. You want to praise him for what he did create.
I've actually seen a lot of testimony of people in fields like, zoology and stuff like that, come out of their atheism because they studied certain animals that, are just like, there's no way that nobody created. It's like a beetle with like this bomb in its behind that, if a predator comes, it just basically blows up and gets away. It's like little stuff like that like change people's minds that, just by studying nature, that man, this can't be on mistake.
And that happens in physics as well, in cosmology, in biology. In people do genuinely get turned to some form of religious to that conclusion of somebody must have created this. This is just too brilliant and too beautiful, aesthetically beautiful to just be an accident.
Yeah, so what do you have to say about like DNA or like animal instincts? Do you think that those two were attributed to a creator?
I can experience the same wonderment without presupposing a supernatural being that I have no evidence for, that I have no convincing evidence for.
You're the evidence. You're the evidence, and the earth is the evidence.
Yes, I know. That's so. When you asked if there is evidence, yes, I can agree that if you posit that there is a God, if there was a God, I would be the evidence of his creation because he created me. And everything, literally everything, would be the evidence of his creation because he created it. Right? It would be the consequences of his creation. But I don't see a convincing argument for that. From that argument, it could be any God, and that God could be anything. For me, it's like me taking this paper, writing God on it, and saying I'm going to stick it on whatever caused the universe. If it's chaos, then chaos is God. If it's Jesus, then Jesus is God.
Well,
if it's,
I think it's okay to not know who. Like, if you have a deity in your mind, then I could see people saying, that's not, But I think the evidence for a creator is there. Now, as soon as you maybe deify him, then you're in the wrong, or deify whatever the creator is, and I think that's where the religions and stuff like that come in. It's like they all have a deity picture in their mind of what God is or whatever. And it's like maybe God just created and kept himself out, or whatever it is out. He just stayed out of the way, gave us free will and just stayed out of the way. And this is the result of what the human genome has done over the years or whatever.
Yes, and so the thing that you have just said, that's deism, that's God of Spinoza. And you will find throughout history and even today, all those atheist scientists, or predominantly many of those atheist scientists, saying, I have no problem, no issue with the God of Spinoza. I have no objection to deism. I just don't share it, right? I don't believe that, but I can see how people can believe that, and I don't mind them believing that. I don't think that they're specifically wrong about it. Okay.
So things like the Earth and its perpetual spinning motion, like it's not going to stop spinning.
Nope.
That's you don't think that's amazing?
Nope.
Your model.
Well,
You don't.
I think I don't think that's surprising, right?
Why not? Okay, so let's go back to the Big Bang. Walk me through what happened, or what you think happened, like with the Big Bang and how the Earth just started spinning and it's not going to stop spinning, and no creator is linked to that.
So, as I said, I don't know what happened. There are at least 7 different theories of what. One of those theories, the one which is kind of popular and predominant today, is the speculation about the multiverse, that universes split off from each other either through creation of black holes or through local inflation to create spaces that have different constants of nature and different laws of nature. And if there are myriads of those universes, some of those universes will have laws of nature which are conducive to life, to some kind of life. One of those universes will be perfectly fine suited for the creation of this kind of life. And that's the only place in the whole multiverse that this kind of life can exist. And that kind of life will exist there. And we'll look at that universe and wonder, well, how can we be here? But that's the only place they can be, right? That's the anthropic principle. We are here because this is the only place where we can exist. We observe the universe such as it is because that's the only universe where we can exist to observe it such as it is.
Right. Even in the heliocentric model, we're in the Goldilocks zone. We're in this perfect spot, man.
Yes.
As far as we know, there is no other life out there yet.
Well, that's up for speculation, but that's only because.
Okay. So you believe in aliens?
No.
No, we're not gonna we're not gonna go down that path. But
no, I'm agreeing with you. We don't know if there are aliens or any kind of life out there.
We're where we're at.
And yes, we're in the Goldilocks zone with liquid water for beings which are based on water and carbon. That's the ideal place where we can be.
The light spectrum, right? And you got these vibrations and frequencies, and we're bouncing. We're sharing waves up through the air and all of this. Man, this is an amazing place we're at, Barney.
Yeah, right,
it would be surprising if we, such as we are, evolved on Pluto or on Mercury or on Venus, right? On places which have these extreme temperatures and pressures or vacuum or radiation or stuff where we possibly cannot live. It would be truly amazing if we evolved there and found ourselves in that hostile environment, right? It is perfectly acceptable that if life is to start and evolve, it will evolve on a place where all the conditions for life to evolve exist. So of all the billions of stars and planets, the place where you're going to find us is the place where we can exist, nowhere else. You're not going to find us on the sun. You're going to find us on a planet in the golden zone where the atmospheric pressure and temperature are such that the water is liquid, such that it can circulate the nutrients that we need to transform our cells and function, and right? You're not going to find us anywhere else.
I have a question. Hey, see, I just realized. I've asked it before. Thought of it again. Like a lot of flat earthers will give you that a globe, Goldilocks zone, this perfect place is so fictitious. Like, how can we believe it? But wouldn't your God do that if you even us in God?
Oh, that's what I'm kind of getting at, is that in my eyes, if you ask me, and yes, I'm a flat earther, but if you ask me, God is in both models. He's in both models. If you ask me.
Say it again. You kind of cut out.
God is in the heliocentric model too. If you ask me, like God, you would need a God for that model too. If you ask me.
Yeah. So if he believes in God, God exists, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
but at the same time,
there's a lot of coincidences. When are you going to say that, man? There's too many coincidences for these to be coincidences.
When would you
there's too many
shape?
Like I said, even the way you see, even the way the intricacies of the human body, the way you even see, the way there are all these waves that we can't see. If you saw all those waves, you wouldn't be able to use your eyes to drive. There's intelligence behind that. You understand?
So I don't see that. I see that there is an evolutionary advantage to being able to. Sorry,
whoever that is, and I'm not even I grew up Christian or whatever, but I question the Bible. I'm that objective that I do question it. I question people trying to say, hey man, I know God and you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like that I question that, you know, like
So
how
you
do you
don't,
get to God and I don't, you know what I'm
so
saying?
you don't believe in a God. You believe in a deity or
I believe in a creator, and I believe that I don't think nobody knows who he is. And in this point in my life right now, that's kind of what I'm believing. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm that open that I can say I'm confused, man. I'm confused when it comes to God. You know, I don't think none of us know, and I think the
Yeah.
people,
yeah,
what I
100%.
observe, you know, going on, especially with these religions, it's like, man, you know, a lot of it makes me shake my head, but because I grew up Christian and I have read, you know, parts of it. I have, you know, like a 1611 Bible and stuff like you know, but there's things just in it that I would disagree with, like with the Abraham story. Like I would have told God no. If God can't, if I heard a voice and God told me to kill my son, I'm telling that God no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's going to have to be mad at me or whatever, but
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. You understand? Like,
Thank you, God. I will gladly take my place in hell, but I'm not killing my son.
Yeah. You know, that's just, it just don't sit. So, you know, it's like, you got to believe that Abraham had this special, you know, it's like, I don't know. And it's like, me personally in my life, I've never heard God voice. Has anybody heard God voice? I don't, you know, it's like, so I just question
I
people's
definitely hear a
motives
voice.
and incentives, you know what I'm saying?
I definitely hear a voice, but he definitely ain't no God. The stuff he says is man, I wouldn't even share it with you guys.
So
I
I
think we should be talking about it though. It's something that I think should be, you know, on the table of conversation. That's why I like talking about it.
I was in a place where you are now, right? I was brought up Catholic, and I had the experience of God as just the assumed another person who was in my life, and for me, he was as real as my mom was or as my grandma was. He was just the special kind of guy who doesn't exist and cannot be cannot be seen and cannot be heard, and whom I can talk to, but he responds through the events in the world and my own thoughts, guiding my actions when I don't know what to do, or right. And for the longest time, I simply assumed that he exists, and then doubt arose, and I was taught that doubt is wrong and that it's a sin and that you cannot question God, and right. But I read the Bible, and the Bible said that, like, the Bible showed example by example that those who doubt are shown to be fools by God when he reveals the truth to them. And everybody, like the prime example is Saint Thomas, right? Who doubted Jesus, and Jesus let him stick his fingers in his wounds to show him that he is real and he's there and he is tangible, and right. And I said that I was willing to commit the sin of doubt and be shown the fool and learn that there is a God and learn that I'm wrong, and then nothing happened. And I read that seek and you shall find. If you open up your heart and seek diligently and fervently and sincerely and without expectation, God will let you in. He will reveal himself to you. He will come to you. And he didn't. And I went seeking to other denominations, and I kind of turned to my own religion, which is where I think you are now, my personal relationship with God, where I would still talk to him and still communicate as much as I could and express my doubts, because there's nothing that I can, if there is a God, there's nothing in my head that I can hide from him. So yeah, sure. I openly communicated my doubt to him because I didn't want to lie to myself or to him. And I sought in meditation, in New Age, in woo of all kinds, and I couldn't find anything. Wherever I looked, everything was fake and delusional, and people lying to each other, literally misrepresenting, seeking their own benefit from claiming that there is a God. And I grew up in a war, and I saw both sides invoke God, saying that God wants you to kill those other people.
Yeah,
You are the God's chosen ones. Go
over here and crusade. It's like,
yeah. And the only thing that I can see of religion, which is kind of consistent in all my interactions with all the different religions, is that it's a leash made by people for people, so that they can tell them something which doesn't have to be proven, but needs to be obeyed without question, without doubt. That doubting is a sin, that you need to not think about it, just do what God commands you to. And I don't want to do that. And for the longest time, I was an agnostic. I maintained that kind of sincere and intellectually honest position of, I don't know. And there is a part of me where when I think about it, when I analyze it, I don't know. And I should have no belief about it for that. But I have to be honest to myself that there is nothing in my life anymore where I live as though anything supernatural exists. Therefore, I don't believe that gods exist. And when I ask myself which God I believe in no God, and I believe in no religious claims. I am spiritual. I do sincerely try to be a good moral person. I do not need God for that. I have my own moral agency in doing the best that I can, and that's flawed and imperfect, but it's the best that I can. And
see, to me, it sounds like you're mad at the gods of man, that man is made up. And you could disconnect yourself from the creator if you're, mad at, you don't let man, dissuade you from that. That's just my personal, and I could be
if I remove everything that is man-made about God, then there is nothing left. I see no God that I can reason to, even though I've believed in him. God is either absent or irrelevant.
Well, you know how they say God is everywhere?
Yes.
In your life, the earth is it's everywhere you're gonna go. Everywhere you're gonna go, you're gonna see the earth. The earth is gonna be for you and everybody. So, why not? It's like I just think of things like that and just how perfect this place is for us. You know what I'm saying? It's deep to me. It makes me, and like I said, I work at a fish market on the Gulf, so I see beautiful things all the time. I see dolphins. You know what I'm saying? It's just beautiful. And I have a lot of time to sit there and reflect, man. Just look at beautiful scenery, and God is amazing, man. That's all I got to say. Whoever it is, I don't know who it is, but whoever it is amazing.
I don't want to deny you your religion. If those are your beliefs, I'm perfectly fine with it. And if you're going to explore the universe that you think your God created for the greater glory of that God, absolutely. But if you're going to shut your eyes and ears and distance yourself from reality that seems to me not in alignment with believing in a God or sincerely exploring the universe.
I would ask you, what reality am I shutting off? Because there's nothing in my immediate reality where I got to sit there and say, I got to calculate for this curvature right here, or this, or this spin real quick. I don't experience the globe. So what are you saying? You know what I'm saying? So I think, because I think we're all flat Earth. I think we all experience it the same freaking way. And that's flat, water's level, it's stationary, and we're not moving. And even in your model, we don't have to account for it because it's so perfect and it's in this perpetual motion and the atmosphere is spinning with it. So we good, man. We don't have to count, it's presenting itself as it's still and stationary. So, which is another, for me and your model, pointing to a God, but, to each his own, man, live and let live. I'm just here to put my thoughts out there and let y'all hear the thoughts of me, you know what I'm saying? So.
Good. And I'm fine with it. So I haven't talked to you before, and I don't know what your position is. I'm guessing that if you're in a hangout about flat Earth globe debate, that you are promoting flat Earth and have have something to say about it.
I think we spoke once before.
But we've been on the same hangout, and we did speak briefly, but I was mostly talking to Ellie and Mind of God that time, and you were quiet and listening.
Right. Yeah, you're
having
have a conversation.
So I'm sorry if I'm
to Flat Earth. It's fine. I just wanted to ask that question and kind of understand, because that's, to me, and this conversation is going to lead, or it does a lot of times because I talked about this with everybody. Everybody around me knows my position. This is not some internet like thing I do, and then and then in my real life I'm somebody else and shit. No, this is me. So, damn it, I lost my damn point. Sometimes I smoke, man. So sometimes I
smoke weed every day.
I think it's gone, man. Well, I was gonna say something.
It's okay.
In your defense,
no,
I'm eating out of a peanut butter thing right now. I smoke too.
I smoked when I was a kid, and then I grew up.
We're the same age, Barney.
That's not supposed to be.
Matter of fact, I think I'm older than you, Barney.
Oh yeah, pretty much what I was saying is just that I think this conversation is, to me, it's about God, and it's going to lead to talking about God. But
and I'm glad to talk to you about God. I don't know if you're. I'm sorry, I'm misattributing things to you. I'm having a conversation with 3 other flat earthers that I've talked to before I've talked to you, and I'm misrepresenting you, and I don't want to do that.
You can ask me a question and see if I feel the same way.
Hey, Barney, welcome to the Hangout Circuit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I don't want to be that guy. That's a part of that. I want to be a good person, regardless of there being an absolute morality or whatever. I want to be a good person by my own standards. I know.
Trust me, Barney. I know a lot of people on both sides. You have nothing to worry about. You're good to go. Both sides will respect you.
Yeah, I really try to keep it respect. If y'all, like the way you're talking to me, when Bob the science guy and them boys get up here, man, and Timmy and them, and they talking with that condescending attitude, and they talking down, it's like you either gonna get, the bite back, to shut up and leave or whatever, It's like I'm really growing, man, to the point where it's like I ain't got time for that, man. It's not a debate to me anymore. I think y'all position, y'all done made up y'all mind. And I think, I think my mind's pretty much made up. Unless you can show me, demonstrate this globe to me. I don't want to hear the mathematical construct. I don't want to see.
But regardless of the science of all this, you don't find it kind of odd that like Chris is all outright just always says he's correct and not be corrected. And I mean, what he's doing is fine. But once something is he hits a wall, he doesn't stop and rethink. He tries to run through it. I don't see an issue with that.
I think Chris has been bringing out some good points lately, man. If you ask me, I think he's been bringing out some good points. He may be off here. We're human, man. Rumpus is fucking wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, exactly. I got a deal.
Like he's right about it. He could be wrong.
I got an issue. No, he is wrong. I have an issue with Rumpus because I asked him about the closed and open system shit. And that motherfucker, and check this out. So, yeah, he was right. It's closed, in a sense. But there's this thing that they're leaving out. Like, everyone keeps leaving out in this argument. And it's isolated. Because that is what you guys... I almost did it too. That's what a lot of flat earthers believe, that we live in this dome. That would be an isolated system. Not a closed, an isolated system. So stuff like that, and then, like you said, yeah, Chris is off, and again, nothing wrong with him being wrong. Nothing at all. Matter of fact, I think most people like me more because I will say stupid shit, and I have to come back the next day and say I was wrong. And I will. So, the fact that he just blatantly just is like, you're wrong, I don't care what all of you guys are saying, I don't care if that's exactly how that works, I'm saying it's this. This is right. Now,
his
push for it is good.
Too, I said, just like he can be wrong, you can be wrong too.
But how many times? But I have never been like, this guy, fuck that guy. I'm right. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm
Sean, you just blew up on us the other day, bro. You just blew
no. Oh yeah. And what did I just do? What did I do last stream? In this stream, I feel guilty for it, but I don't feel guilty for Chris. I don't feel guilty for my. But see, that's what I was just about to get into because you are cool.
Y'all better be careful, man. Because I'm telling you, y'all gonna be running. Y'all gonna.
That's the thing. When you are with them,
shit Jose is doing right now.
Again,
I'm telling you, man.
Again,
Jose's doing on his channel. I mean, yeah, it's his channel too, But I just think, like the conversation. I mean, I think that was a pretty good conversation, man. But I can't have that conversation over on Jose's. But guess what?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you.
I'm gonna tell
you right now. I'm gonna say week and a half. That's me going through this head change of globe and flat Earth. Like seriously, it's not like a joke. Like I really thought back and was like, damn, I really was a fucking asshole for the past week and a half. And I really thought like I was gonna, like honestly, I was worried I was gonna be like a fight the flat Earth dude. Like out of nowhere, I was just gonna be like, fuck you guys, fuck this.
Gotta, like prove something to people, instead of just having a nice
exactly.
bill, we just talking about our beliefs here.
Uh-huh. Well, the reality is,
beliefs, and we just talking about them. Okay,
we've had conversations. I've not been triggered. We've had good conversations, but again, like I said, it wasn't you. It was the people you came in with, and you were just there. You were an innocent bystander caught in crossfire. Because I'm gonna tell you now, kind of do it, but you don't do it maliciously, where you're asking questions. Mind of God, he 100% does it on purpose. I'm sorry, he just does. I have proof of it. I am going to show it because that's ridiculous that he does how he does it. You're asking for answers. You want to know you're getting a good fucking answer. There's a difference. Chris, he just cannot be wrong. There's a problem with that. And everyone does it, but man, if you're pushing flat Earth and people are saying prove it or show me evidence, and you're openly like that, people don't take you seriously, and they don't even want to hear that flat Earth idea anymore.
Yeah, I hear you, man. And I just want to reiterate, because some shit has been going on these past couple of weeks. I mean, you and Ali got it. I mean, I think that's too. You really got into it with.
Oh yeah,
I don't even really understand what happened there because I think I need to go back and watch that. And
okay. Well, put it this way: I've known Ali since I came in, and there's always been a respect there, especially because Ali's been here, and I was a new flat earther, right? But because I had these different ideas about how flat Earth worked, me and Ali were the same person almost. Ali doesn't think like a typical flat earther. Neither did I. So we were cool. We always had good conversation. And then there's this thing like, I get that I've been an asshole for the past week. I get that, and to the people that didn't deserve it, I apologize. But I'm gonna let you know. See, Mind of God, Chris, Pete, and Ali, that day, they got on this panel knowing what they were. 100%. I will. There's no doubt in my mind. Here's the other thing. Y'all got
to calm down, man.
No, listen. I was a flat earther for 2 plus years, so I do see a lot of the things that other people don't see, and that's what frustrated me. Because for 2+ years, I haven't been talked to like this by anybody, and now I'm having people purposely talk to me like I'm speaking some different language, and it's very frustrating because I've done half the things they've done.
It's not a good look for you to get mad. If you got the truth, man, don't get mad. Just show the truth.
That's the thing. I also know that flat earther, getting a Glober mad in a discussion is for some, the point. Trust me.
It seems like that's more on the other side, but if you ask me.
No, not here. Not on this panel.
Well, I see it differently.
So
I see that going on.
I've been
Globe to piss people off.
I've been Globe for about I've been Globe for about 3.5 months. The past week and a half, have I acted like that? Time you've known me, like as just attacking like I was.
Not really, no.
It's not me. That's why I fucking just been talking about how I had a head change. That shit, it tripped me the fuck out. Like that's not me. I do get triggered, and if someone talks to me stupid, I will get triggered very easily. I won't feel sorry for it, but that wasn't me. That's not how I usually. Trust me, I've got a lot of fucking DMs in the server going, dude. All right, what's going on? What did this do? Trust me, it's deeper than just a conversation. Like I know shit's going on, and it's in my face, so I'm taking it out on the wrong people. But the problem is like I said, once I get my Sean G channel back, I'm going to be the biggest canary in the world because I don't care if you're flat Earth or globe. If we're cool, you're going to think what's going on is fucked up, and it's not. I'm not conspiracy theorist. It's so there. It's that sickening. What's going on, and the only thing I'll say is Chris does have something to do.
All right, well, fair enough. I mean, you got your little gripes with everybody. That's fine, but
Well, put it this way, I'm actually about to end the stream because it's getting kind of late for me, and I got some stuff I got to do. If you can find, if you stay here, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, and I know you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The second you see it.
Okay, I got a little time,
and that's okay. We'll talk in a second. I'm not even gonna end the hangout. Just you guys hang on for a second.
All right.
All right, guys. Tired. It's a pretty long stream. I started late. I'm sorry, guys. One of the main things I wanted to do is this ranty thing. Most likely, I'll probably just do an upload, and then talk about it again. But I really got to get this out because I just want you guys to left off at that wave Dorling. I'm gonna do the upload tonight. I already have half of it done. Last night I was like, why don't I just do it live? Kind of see why. It's not Barney or Fine's fault. Obviously, I wanted it to stay on topic. I could have had it, but I like when people can actually have a conversation and get to know each other. I knew that was the first time they had actually had a one-on-one. Would I stop it? They're both cool people. Been a good conversation. Again, I'll be on tomorrow. I'm tired, so I didn't want to, and I did start really late. Like I said, there's a lot of shit going on in the background right now. I don't want to say until I get my my Sean G channel back. But yeah, it's a lot of shit going on. I'm gonna try to get the conversation going a little bit broader. I want to start talking more about the geoengineering, government shit, fossil fuel stuff going on in the background because it's kind of bigger for me. And the one thing that I definitely want to get very clear is that like the past week and a half, that's not me. It literally is a shock of dealing with people I've dealt with for 2+ years, suddenly just treating me like I didn't exist, in that as a flat earther. But hey, that's on you guys. As far as I'm concerned, it's only fitting, I guess. But the main thing to me is that I'm true to myself. I don't care if anyone else has an issue with me. Like I said though, but there are the groups of people that I'm going to be calling out because it needs to happen. It's the mind of God, your wordplay, the blatant diverting of conversations that you do on purpose is, for one, it's not acceptable here because I gave Flat Earth the best platform they have on YouTube right now. I'm telling you right now, like you're not going to get a better opportunity to present anything you want, to know you're not going to get shitted on here, and basically just fucking shit on my carpet. That to me, I take that personal. Chris Berry, I'm not joking a little bit. I'm not stupid. I know exactly what's going on. As soon as I get my channel back, everyone's gonna know. So I mean, your hasty retreat and disappearing didn't help you, but hey, that's what it is. What it is. But again, I definitely have reality check that I need to check myself and realize that that because a couple act one way, they all don't. I still believe that there are a lot of flat earthers out there that want to understand it and want to learn. And that's what I'm here for. All it takes is one for me to be happy. Cold. See, I hang on. Yeah, hey, my God, I'm taking off. I mean, you can come into the hangout. I'll put the link out there, but it's not. I'm not airing the link to Herd, and I'm gonna end the stream. But you can come on. But I gotta talk to these guys for a second. So give me about 5 minutes before you come in. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, multi. I was accused probably 30 times by now. But good thing we know that there's a clone, right? That was cute though, multi. But if you guys have heard multi debate, you did a good laugh. Yeah. Other than that, guys, I'm back. I'm good. I blew all that steam out. I'm not gonna lie, Chris. My God, you guys are on my radar. Ali B, I do still want to have a conversation with you in private. That's why I have not made it all open because I do have respect for you. But something's gotta. We need to talk. Definitely need to talk. So if anyone out there cross Ali B, let him know I'm looking for him. Other than that, guys, I'm fuck out of here because I'm just ranting. Tomorrow, I'm going to. So here's the thing for tomorrow. I'm going to premiere the Ranty upload right after the premiere. I'm going to live stream here. There will be an upload for the alert and the upload premiere that will kick off for everyone to come here after that. So just so you guys know what's going on. Again, I'm hoping by the end of this week my channel's back. Again, I'm in contact with one of the strike copyright owners, and they understand it wasn't on purpose and it wasn't a malicious thing. So they're talking with their partners, and they're going to get back to me. But I've already talked to 3 of the 5, and they all are all flat earthers, so it's all good there. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna get the hell out of here, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll probably see some of you guys tonight in Discord, debate flat Earth and more. Oh, if anyone has questions about geoengineering, ask me at the server or ask me in my email. I had like 5 or 6 people tweet me questions. I don't ever use Twitter, so like you can, but I may not get it. So if you do have questions about OBS, Hangouts, anything you need help on for the doing live stuff, or the server, or live streaming safe, or geoengineering, weather modification, any question, find me in the Discord server or hit my email. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Love you all. Peace.
Thank you.